think there's something that you linked to it, right? But it feels very unclear still what are the graduated sanctions and how they are applied.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that forum post can have like more to it. Okay. Yeah, it says big scale conflicts, and it says suggested actions. The thing is that right now I have been trying to change a little bit the wording, like graduated sanctions, to like transformational actions. I don't know. I think like for the approach of gravity, yeah, I think that transformational actions work a little bit better than graduated sanctions, but it's just the same, but it's like a different way of framing the idea. But
Yeah, I'm going through the forum post now, and it does have everything in there. Maybe we could take a deeper look at them, and this could be like part of a workshop after, like you were saying, that uh, the first workshop will be more for people to like not necessarily work as conflict managers, but then later there would be something more in depth. So maybe in that second part, this could be a work, but that everybody does collaboratively, like looking into each one of these proposed suggested actions, and see how that could apply. Like, what would be the decision making process there? Like, for example, losing governance tokens. Like, that's a very extreme measure, right? It's probably the most punitive we can be.
yeah,
And together with a public warning and stuff like that. So, like for these more extreme cases, how would we decide that that was the case? Would we need to vote in the DAO? Like probably, but then that person could dispute the proposal because they would have tokens. Like, what if this happens with someone that has a lot of governance power? Like all of this, I think it's a great place where this is now, but we can probably start looking into like the applicability of it.
okay.
Actually, I think like burning tokens is something like would never happen. Like for instance, like if the DAO would like to burn my tokens, what I would do is just sell them before that passes, right? I think it's out of scope right now.
Hmm. Yeah, it's very interesting. I will start sharing my screen, and yeah, I just wrote this idea: review graduated sanctions. um, because yeah, I understand what Livy was saying, and it's true that maybe there's like this forum post that somehow states some possible actions, but it's not like clear, and it has like a lot of maybe holes that can be filled within the application of those sanctions. And yeah, maybe that would be really good to do it between the Gravitons, or yeah, amongst the Gravitons. Okay, but we will start with this question. And what limitation, weaknesses do you identify in your professional life? Are you doing something to improve? Well, I start. I find that sometimes I tend to hold some work and that sometimes for me it's difficult to delegate, and I think I need to improve in delegation. But every time I try to like be more conscious about it, and I try to talk with contributors to see if they will be willing to do something. And when I see a contributor that is willing to contribute, I always like welcome him or her in the best way possible. um, and also sometimes I think that I struggle with English and with expressing my ideas. So what I am trying to do is to have more preparation before going to meetings and writing down ideas before talking. Because yeah, I start talking and then I think that there's this like buffering that I have when I try to speak in English, because I first like organize my ideas in Spanish, and like yeah, I tend to take too much time to express my ideas in English, and so I am trying to writing down my ideas before talking. You Septi, I'll pass to you.
Yeah, I kind of have like the same thing. Like, it's very hard for me to delegate, and it's also very hard to me to say to no to something. So sometimes I end up picking like a lot of tasks, and instead of doing one like taking this task and make it like the best I can, maybe I finish like I finish them all, but maybe with lower quality. And I mean, yeah, I don't know, like, oh man, it's tough. I feel. I mean, there's a lot of things I do wrong. I know, but I don't
And
know.
are you doing something to improve them?
I mean, I'll try like do some meditation, think about it. But I've been doing this from very long time, and yeah, little by little it's getting better. Oh, another thing I do, like probably is not helping me. It's like when I see a task like it's too hard, I just reject it, right? Like, oh no, that's too hard to me, and then it's harder to climb in this. Yeah, I feel like those are my weaknesses on professional life. But overall, I'm pretty happy, and I'll pass it to Mon.
Thanks, Septi. For me, it's clear that one of the weaknesses that I have is I want to work in so many different things. Right now, there's so much innovation going on, and I'm interested in so many different things. I only have, I don't know, 15 hours in a day, like actual productive hours. So it's really about spreading myself too thin. Um, in Spanish, there's a saying that goes, "El que mucho abarca poco aprieta," which is like if if you're um, if you're trying to grab a large surface, then you're not gonna squeeze that too tight, kind of thing. So that what happens to me. Um, yeah, and I'll pass it to Michael that just came in. Michael, we're just talking about limitations or weaknesses that we identify in our professional life, and if we're doing something to improve them. I forgot to say, for me, improving, I've been using Notion a lot, and I have like different workspaces that I arrange things at, and yeah, that's the improvement I have right now. Also, like measuring the time I spend working on different things and cross-referencing that to the priorities I have, etc. Yeah, I'll pass it to you, Michael.
Oh yeah, hello. Yeah, so the question was things that improve something or related to work, or I was not really.
Yes. Yeah, the question is what like limitations or weaknesses do you see in your if you see it's on Juanca's screen. but it's just a question of what limitations, weaknesses do we identify in our professional life, and if we're doing something to improve them, and just like an introspective reflection on what you think about that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let me see. Maybe to make priorities, focus on the right things, because there are always like many different things you can do, and then to prioritize the right things. I guess that's something I have to improve. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I pass it to Durgadas.
Yeah, so being a polymath, I tend to do a lot of different things, and so if it's a weakness, it's more that I've found a way to significantly contribute to a lot of different places. And so in some ways, just saying no to things that are interesting and things I'd be motivated and would be cool to do and contribute to, I often need to say no to those things too, even though I don't want to. And I find that I have not been saying no a lot. So I end up, kind of maybe a little more doing more than I want to.
Yeah. Well, who's missing? Durgadas, Livia.
Yep. I think for me is like attention deficit. Just jumping into like start to do one thing and then something else pops up and then I jump into this other thing and then keep going, and then there are infinite things that are started and not so many things that are finished. So I've been trying to like close everything and then just work on one something, but that's challenging for me, but it's something I should do more. And also learning to prioritize. I mean, it's kind of together with that. And yeah, those are probably the two biggest ones for me.
Yeah. My intention of this question is to know that all of us have limitations, and that it's normal to have them. So sometimes we're very hard to ourselves, and we like squeeze, and we want to like squeeze ourselves like a lemon. But like, yeah, we are humans, and the best work that we can give, and the best impact that we have, is when when we feel fresh and when we are not exhausted. So yeah, it's important to understand that we all have limitations, and but also to do something to improve. Like, I know that I sometimes like ramble when I am talking, so like I will be more conscious about writing down my ideas before talking, so that I don't like, yeah, go from one place to another. And this goes really on the hand of a concept that I have been studying lately, and it's about the authenticity and true self in organizations. And I think that if we want to promote an authentic organization, we also have to stop promoting like false selves within the organizational identity, and like, yeah, stop saying like, yeah, we can carry all the weight and we never get exhausted. It's like that would be like reproducing a false self. And for this organization to be more comprehensive, and for this and for our organization to be more comprehensive, it's important to talk about the limitations that we all have, and that none of us is like a machine that can work all day and have excellent production all day long without doing other things. but that is important to take care of our mental health, of our other priorities, also to be able to and to prioritize, also to be able to deliver well our work. So yeah, it's a very something to have an introspection. And if you said something, and like if you answered the first part of the question, like what was your limitation, but if you didn't answer like what are you doing to improve, then the homework for you is to try to think what can you do to improve this thing that you said that is your limitation. And yeah, with that we will pass to the topics of the agenda. And I am really glad that Michael is here because he's helping us with the POAPs, and I want him to present what has he been doing around making the events. We then have to like update the POAPs, the design of the POAPs. This is the proposal of the design that Acid Laser made, but the idea is that then we can add change the name here for and the date for each session, and maybe like changing a little bit the background color so that we can have like the 10 POAPs matching and looking great for each session. Michael, do you want to start with that, showing us your work, and then we will talk about the progress that we have been doing in the study plan?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you could go to the link that I sent you, or I can also share my screen, but it's just a Google Doc. I'm not sure if you want to open.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you see?
Yes. Yeah, basically, I just created the POAP events, and from what Juan sent me, I also chose the POAP names. Not sure if this is final. Looks quite good already, I would say, but in case you want to edit them, there are the event links in column B, and also the edit code, so you can change. The edit codes are in column A. Then you can change the text and description, and yeah, I think the dates don't need to be changed, but yeah, maybe description could be a bit different. And also the images can be replaced, as Juan pointed out. Yeah.
This looks amazing.
Yeah. So also in the event page, you can query for them. So, and the thing that needs to be done is to set up the POAP bot in the Discord. And then I received some links that one needs to enter in the POAP bot, and then it distributes them to participants that write a secret key phrase to the POAP bot. That's how it basically works. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the only thing that I would say is to add here like a column, and write the password of each session so we can have like the password in hand. But yeah, we still don't have the passwords defined, but yeah, so when we have them, we update them here.
Yeah, that's true.
But this is great work. Thank you.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
problem.
And the other thing that I wanted to highlight is that this time we will have 7 facilitators, and I think that's amazing because yeah, I think that from collaborative and from group intelligence, you can, and by taking different points of view and taking different masteries, we can improve and go far beyond that. If we like had like only 2 or 3 people only talking about what they think, but like having this diversity is amazing. And we will have like Durgadas, me, Anna Marie, Didan, Lowy, Manu, and Livia. And I think it's amazing because also we are going to have four males and 3 women. So yeah, it's amazing. I think that we are having like inclusion in this design of the training. So I am happy with that. So what is left to be done here is to um, is to update and change the different designs so that we update that in the POAP page so that each one matches their session. So thank you, Michael. That's like great, and it was your first contribution to Gravity, but it was like really fast and really well done. So yeah, it's amazing to count with you, and for sure I will praise this work after this call.
Yeah, thank you. I was looking for a way how to get started and saw the issue, and yeah, also like POAPs and wanted to explore them myself. So it was a good occasion to do so. Yeah.
Yeah, this is amazing. We now have the 10 POAPs, and it's just to continue like polishing what the images and what goes in each one of them. But yeah, now we will be working on the second Graviton training study plan, and as Michael showed here, the proposed order is to start with Durgadas, then the second session is me, the third session is Anna Marie Swan and Nate, the fourth session is Didan, fifth session is Lorelei, Durgadas again, Manu, me, Livia, and then I end closing with the training. So now that Manu is here and Livia is here, do you have any questions about your session or something that you would like to say about it? Like we were talking that to organize the sessions and to facilitate people on like what do they have to prepare for the session and what are they going to what is the content that they will see in the session. We said that we could divide into pre-learning, presentation, and homework. And like pre-learning is the things that people should like understand or read or like see before coming to the session, so that they can be like informed and understand the frameworks that we will be talking about. And then the presentation is what you're going to present in the session. And some homework is also some other text that people can read before the session. This is the way that I prepared my second session, and it's like pre-learning is a summary of conflict transformation. Also, when when we're sending like a whole book like this of Antifragile, maybe select only 2 or 3 pages of what it's important for people to read, so that we don't like make this too much content heavy. Like here, this is a super interesting document, but it's very long. So I am just saying like just read the conclusions, because here it develops the idea that I have been like trying to promote in these last calls. And it's like that we have a false self and also a true self, and we can promote one or the other in an organization identity. So it's important to be able to understand this duality and understand and to understand that organizations can be authentic, where leaders attempt to minimize the emergence of social defense systems. These social defense systems are these defenses that we have like automated to ourselves, and sometimes it's what brings and shows the false self. So yeah, when we like teach people to not be on this defense mode, they can become like authentic and not like being false and like only following a false identity of maybe what is expected. The homework for this session is to fill the gravity survey, and I will be working in my presentation using some of the first Graviton training slides, and also some of the things that were mentioned in the first Gravity's blog post. This is Anna Marie and Nate, and they said that they will be working on this in these next days. And they during the session they want to talk about rituals of honoring and appreciation. That there are routes available to support members in sharing seriousness of their distress, creating spirals into holding positions, and ensuring there is care and clarification around welcoming members. So they said that they would like to continue working on this, and we agreed that the deadline for this study plan is the 31 of August. So they will be working on this. Didan has more or less prepared this session because he did this exercise of turning praises into nonviolent communication phrases. So using the wheel of needs and the wheel of feelings, so that we can like take a phrase and then like rephrase it into nonviolent communication. I think that this workshop was really good, so I think that we can like update it and do it again, this workshop.
Why don't I just create a live?
Loie also said that she's going to be working on this session, talking about restorative justice circles and how can we like have justice without having a third person taking decisions, but like coming from a self-compositive point and from a non-adversarial position. And okay, this sixth session is Durgadas, and he will be talking about decolonization. And here is like the Jungian shadow work and how to not manage complexity. And this idea of shadow work is very important in all what we're doing, because we are trying to integrate the dark side of our organizations, and also being conscious about them, like and understanding that polarities are not like opposites as we normally think, but that are more like complementary sides to one to another, and that instead of trying to like neutralize one of those sides or minimize them, it's important to recognize it and to integrate it and not repress this part of our conscious thinking. So Manu, now we arrived into the seventh session of cognitive biases, psychology of human leadership. Do you want to talk about us with us about your idea, and if we can give some feedback and try to help you organize your session?
Yeah, okay. So it's based on a book about titled the same way, The Psychology of Human Leadership. And
That's the name, The Psychology of Human Leadership.
yeah.
I will try to search for the link and paste it.
Also have the book in PDF form. But what I like is it gives a very it goes into the psychology behind leadership, right? And why we follow certain people and how other people lead us. And I think it's really important in terms of DAO to have like this, to cultivate an individual sense of leadership and not always be relying on the the people that we recognize as leaders within the community. Maybe that's why some of the reason we procrastinate on things, or we don't deal with the issues directly. But anyway, it goes into let me find the book right now. And
If you have the PDF, send it to me to paste the link here. So yeah, the idea is to facilitate the people the study content before they come to the sessions, and maybe if there are like a paragraph or a chapter that you would like people to read, especially if it's a long book, like try to frame it on what are the pages that needs to be studied.
yeah, definitely. Okay. I can't. I'm looking for the book, but if you want, we can come back to this if we have some more time, so that we don't wait until I assemble
Okay.
this.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking that this one would be good to, if we can have like a workshop session in here. So it's like we are having some content heavy sessions and other sessions that are more practical. So I think that if we can somehow make this practical session, it would be good. And I think that seeing this content for masterclass, maybe we can like have like a questionnaire, a lot of questions, so that each one like answers, and then we can like contrast the answers and make some insights about the activity.
Yeah, yeah. No, I definitely think that workshop is the way to go. I found the book. I have a physical copy here, and some of the contents that it goes through is well, obviously leadership. It's very interesting how crises relate to leadership, and how also like individual freedom is antithetical to leadership, in the sense that a leader needs to be able to point towards a direction and create a framework where the followers or the group will go towards that direction. And if people want to instead follow their own desires or their individual freedom to do whatever they want, then the whole team as a whole is not going to get to that direction. So it's very interesting once it gets conceptualized in a more theoretical framework, and not just talk about leadership in the usual sense. Also, like personality, charisma, threats, challenges, the different types of the four types of people, and how they're driven by different things, mechanism of influencing behavior, the leadership disorders, which is kind of like the shadow of leadership. It's power, dominance. It's just things that kind of get lost in the mix, but they are there's something we deal with every day, either in our professional life or in our social life. We're always following others or leading the way. So I'm hoping this can be a very valuable workshop for everyone.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. And there's, yeah, I was writing some of the topics we were saying, because I think they are very important, and they can fit very well here in the Graviton training. And yeah, this power dominance is something like we normally don't talk about that much, but that we see in the space, and we see every day that sometimes we like give more truth to someone, to something that someone who is like admiring the space say, than other thing that other people would say by if they are not in a power position. And yeah, and how sometimes we just follow blindly what our leaders say, and sometimes we need also to question ourselves, and to question the behavior of our leaders. And also this like is shocks with the dynamic of DAOs, because like here we don't have that much of a hierarchical positions, so also people have agency. And even though that we see these power structures, that they are more dynamic than in the traditional world.
I think one of the most interesting things that I found from the book is how it frames crises in terms of leadership, and how leaders frame a crisis in a way that helps them achieve a goal. So in a way, they instrumentalize a crisis. And I mean, of course, it gives a disclaimer on the ethics and the morality behind doing this in a way that is healthy and positive. But it just completely changed the way I see crises, and in the portrayed in the news. The PR that governments do around crises, and how they always try to lead a narrative, and trying to steer into a certain direction, kind of using the crisis as a vector. So yeah, it's very interesting. And again, it's not the woo woo leadership talk that I'm aiming at, but something practical, and that will stay for you for a long time to come.
Thanks, Manu. Well, I think there are some great ideas here. We can think to have a one-on-one to continue preparing this session, but I am sure that it will turn out great, and I will try to to search for this book. I love searching books in internet, because like as I worked at universities, I have like access to a lot of like databases that are like paid. And yeah, sometimes for people it's hard to look for books, but for me it's really easy, because yeah, I have like access to Springer, to ResearchGate, to like a lot of these databases that help to find some readings. Okay, in the 9th of November session, that it's my birthday, I will talk about the gravity processes and the deep dive. I will talk about the input form. I would talk about the self-review form. That is something new that I did to give to Gravitons after having a mediation, for them to like reflect on what they did well, and what can they improve. What does it mean to become a Graviton? What, like, the scale of sanctions and graduated the scale of conflict and graduated sanctions that we have, that it's like a baseline of what are some of the actions that can be a response of an unwanted behavior in the organization, and how we through non-adversarial positions try to look of solutions coming from the parts involved, and through the compromise of and the dialogue of people. And yeah, I am going to use these infographics that Acid Laser has been doing, like for Gravitons to understand what are the phases that we follow, like identification of cases, screening of disputes, conducting the IDR process. And this that is like the mediation process. Like if the parties agree to mediate, then you continue, but if they don't agree to mediate, you cannot do anything, because this is solution of conflicts that comes from compromising and from consent and from goodwill of the parties to participate in this. So if there is no agreement to participate on the process, we cannot continue. And if we reach to an agreement, then we have like responsibilities and a settlement agreement. But if we don't reach to an agreement, then we also should help the parties to continue scaling the dispute to more adequate means of dispute resolution in case that the parties don't reach an agreement. And also like the cycle that we are trying to have for conflicts in Gravity, like having an internal management layer that offers self composition, and that when you don't find agreement in the self composition, you can go to an external management layer where we can rely on a third person with authority to take decisions. So yeah, this is more or less the content that I will be going through in the 8th session. And Livy, profiting that you're here, I wanted to ask what would be the topics that you would feel more inclined to in your session. And like I pasted here some links, but I want to know what other links do you think that would be appropriate for your session.
Yeah, thanks so much for organizing those. I think, well, I could touch on Ostrom, but maybe from another perspective. I think there are some topics that are very hard to bring in to the culture, and mostly like how can we express our full selves, and how can we bring our full selves to the organizations that we are a part of. So what is our full self? It's like all our expressions, our memories, our sexuality, our identity, like multiple, like the ways, the things we like to do that maybe we don't feel comfortable to bring in a more work focused environment. And how can we start like shifting this boundary from like I'm doing work here, or I'm doing something that I'm passionate about. And when passion is involved, there are so many other layers of ourselves that can be expressed. And how does affect governance directly? Because if we think of like the decision making psychology, like the things that inspire you or that like guide you to making decisions, it's a whole compilate of your whole life and the psychological state you're in at the moment. So yeah, I would have to like look more into it on how to prepare that session, but I think there are some provocations that can be made and some exercises, and yeah, just start to think more deeply about like us as the leaders of our own life, and the self-sovereign aspect as like identifying the things that you are a natural leader at because you're simply passionate about that.
Okay, identifying your agency to do what you are best at. Okay, yeah.
Well, not necessarily best at, but passionate about.
Okay.
you might not be like the best. I think the best is also like a competitive state that doesn't necessarily contribute to leadership. And I think there's this distinction too of like being competitive or being collaborative. And I think the leadership mentality that we have grown with comes a lot from competitive states and competitive ideologies. But then when we move to more collaborative ones, how does that shift the way we deal with leadership and with promoting like spaces for others to feel safe to also act that way?
Yeah, great. And I also added here these documents that I know you were working on, and with Jess and with Jeff, like exploring polycentric governance. This is very interesting for people to be able to read it. And I found this other like reading about this governance in decentralized networks, that it makes like a brief description of the different types of governance, like monarchy, oligarchy, plutocracy. So yeah, it's a great reading for people to have like a base ground and a baseline of understanding about yeah, governance, and to understand, yeah, what are we working on at this moment. And it's very interesting, because it does like cultural element, the power element, the justice element. And yeah, but for sure, feel free that if you think that there are other readings that should be here, or that if you feel that maybe you don't like one of these readings, please feel free to change it, or to yeah, add, remove some readings. Maybe I will also, if there are some reading like this one that is very long, I can also like set or choose some of the pages that would be important for people to read. So we are not making this a too much content heavy training.
Yeah, that's great. And this was just a little brainstorming of what this session could be, but I'll make sure to tie into topics that that we already touched on and that are and that are relevant for governance.
Yeah, the deadline to have the sessions polished is the 31 of August, because yeah, I want to post this study plan at least like 20 days before the start of the training, so that people can like, yeah, start getting what we will be talking about. And in this 10th session, I want to make a mediation case workshop, and I would like to have like one people representing one side of the conflict, one people representing the other side of the conflict, and one people like representing the mediator, and following all the gravity steps, so like people can feel and know what is the gravity process. And I was also thinking to make like a practice registry, like a copy of the registry that we use in Gravity, but a one that is for practice, for people, yeah, to get to know and interact with the tool, but without revealing any of the information that we have collected right now. So thanks, guys, for being in this call. We are continuing to work in the second Graviton training, and I really want it to be a success. I think that we will be covering very interesting topics, and that also we will be having diversity of people from different communities, and that we will like be able to certify this with the POAPs. And I also think that and I was talking about this with Manu, earlier, that it's important to have like a continuing educative offer for Gravitons. So yeah, this training would be like an introduction, but then when we have the Gravitons, it would be important to like have a more in-depth training about practicing these skills, about mediation, about leadership, about um, a more continuous training, and not just like one training and like people don't practice this anymore, but like continuing to have commitment and engagement around this work.
Thanks, Juan.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thanks, Juan.
everyone, and
Thanks, Juan.
sorry if